In this video, I will show you how to find out the size of different data types. So in C programming language, we have primary data types like character, integer, float, double. I will find out the size of the respective data types. First, we need to include the common header file that are required for our program, that is standard input output header file, and begin the main function. After the main function, I want to find out the size for a character, for example, character C. I want to find out the size for an integer, for example, int. I want to find out the size for a float variable. I want to find out the size for a double data type. My variable names are C, A, F, and D. So in C language, we have a function called size of function. If you pass these variable names as an argument for size of function, then it returns how much size is required to store a character in C language, how much size is required to store an integer in C language, how much size is required to store a float value, how much size is required to store a double data value. Now, so printf, so percentile d, here first I will print the size of character. So what is my character variable name? C. So that we have to pass inside the size of function. And here the size of function is going to return an integer number. It returns in terms of bytes. So for example, here I can give like this many number of bytes. It returns some 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 like that. Suppose if it returns 1 means then it will display 1 byte or 1 bytes like that. Similarly, we need to calculate the size for the remaining data types. First I calculated the size for character, next one integer, next one float, next one double data type. So I need to change the variable names. Integer variable name is A, float variable name is F, double data type variable name is D. So once the calculation part is over, then we need to save this application with a valid name. So this is about size of demo.c. It is the first demo program about the size of function. After that, immediately we need to compile the program for checking syntax errors. So there are no errors in the program. Now I will try to run the program, but before running I will try to, because I want to separate the first output line with the next output line with a new line. I'm adding \n, means new line. For the last one, no need to give it. Why? Because further there are no more statements we are going to print, so no need to give new line here. Once we made any changes, immediately save, then compile, again zero errors. So once it is successfully compiled, then start. If you see here, what is the first data type that I used? Character. So character is required 1 byte of information. 1 byte space is required to store a character. Next one is integer, next one is float, next one is double data type. See, these numbers may be varied based on the compiler. Which compiler we are using? It is compiler dependent values. This compiler supports, this compiler allocates 4 byte space for an integer as well as the 4 byte space for float also. But some compilers only allocates 2 byte space for integer, 4 byte space for float, 8 bytes space for double data type. So in this way, if you want to find out the size of the different data types, that can be done with the help of size of function. Only thing is which data type size you want to find out, that variable name we have to pass as an argument to this size of function. This size of function, when you are calling this function returns an integer value. That is the reason every time I am using format specifier for integer only. Even though I am deals with float data type, deals with character data type, double data type, here I am not trying to print the values of the variables of different data. I am trying to find out the size, how much space is occupied by different data types. So for the example purpose, just I taken 4 different data types. I am passing those variable names inside the size of function. It returns something. What is that? Integer in terms of bytes. So that I provided inside the printf statement. So I saved this application, I compile and check the output by executing this program. So in this way we can check different sizes of data types. How much space is occupied by each and every data type, that can be found.